I'm kind of a noob when it comes to Japanese anime. I mean, not only have I not seen a lot from Medium, it's just always been rare for me to get hooked onto a certain anime series and really see it through. And I don't really know why this is. It could be that I'm just not recommended the right shows, or I've coincidentally just always found another series to get into, but I haven't had that much luck in the genre in terms of finding some new fangirl obsession. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some iconic exceptions. I have finished Death Note, and that's it, really. But I also really enjoyed Attack on Titan seasons 1 and 2, Great Pretender season 1 was pretty cool, and then there was that one season in the one series with the Simp and the Elf. But again, with the exception of Death Note, which really had me addicted, I kind of end up ditching these at some point or another. It's a similar case with anime movies in that, while I've enjoyed and liked many out there, and I've definitely seen more than shows, there have strangely been very few that left me truly amazed and digging through a director's entire filmography. There may just be a lot more out there I need to see, I don't know. But I do want to stress that there have been the select few out there that I really do love, like these ones. And a hot take, which may regrettably be my final last words for this video, but as universally acclaimed as he is, I'm not that hot on Hayao Miyazaki.
Go, bitch!
Before you unsubscribe, I do acknowledge that his works are stunning. Each movie is, without a doubt, a technical marvel. And he has some of the most original concepts and ideas the film industry has to offer. They are literally out of this world. And yet, sadly, and keep in mind this is just my personal experience with his movies, while I admire how they look visually and his stories are exciting, I guess I just haven't watched one that's really connected or left as much of an emotional impact on me as I hoped it would. They're good movies, don't get me wrong, just not ones I'd be dying to watch again, I guess. And then there was Makoto Shinkai, who I got super excited to get into when he came out with what is probably one of my favorite anime and sci-fi fantasy movies of all time, Your Name. I was so ready to watch through the dude's entire filmography after seeing this one, and to be honest, I was kind of let down. Again, it's not that any of these were bad films, it's just that they didn't nearly live up to how good Your Name was for me. Even Weathering with You, which was visually stunning, didn't quite have the same impact on me as his former. Granted, I still haven't seen these films, so who knows? I may still be able to change my mind, but keep in mind that even with the ones I have seen, I think they all look absolutely beautiful. I just felt like there was something missing for me, personally, in terms of story. And then I found the works of Satoshi Kon. Satoshi Kon was an animator, screenwriter, and manga artist from Hokkaido, Japan. A man with a talent for embracing the strange and surreal, placing him among anime's greats for some of the most innovative visual styles and storytelling I've seen from the industry. I mean, look, I'm aware my watch history ain't as extensive as other people's out there, but from what I have watched, this guy's works never fail to bring something new and thought-provoking to the table. His directorial style is bold, confronting, and oftentimes mind-bending in terms of anime at least, while still telling impactful stories with relevant and relatable social themes. His work has garnered widespread critical acclaim for just this, for his masterful ability to interrogate reality, to blur lines between fact and fiction, or even to, at his simplest, explore timeless subject matters of identity, truth, and human relationships. And while he was only able to make 4 before tragically losing his life to cancer in 2010, each are also its own unique, distinct genre and experience, and I'm sure any moviegoer is bound to find something to love in this dude's filmography. I guess I should give a brief overview of each of his movies so you know what I mean, so let's dive into the works of the great Satoshi Kon. In 1997, Kon made his directorial debut with the psychological thriller Perfect Blue, a disturbing critique of both Japan's obsessive idol culture and the often suffocating, controlling nature of the general entertainment industry. In it, we follow the struggles of Mima, a popular idol performer who attempts to make the shift towards becoming a professional actress, to much unsettling and sometimes deadly consequences. I actually cover this movie a bit and why I think literally everyone should see it in this video right here, so to avoid sounding repetitive, I recommend checking that one out for a more detailed, spoiler-free summary. I will say here though that Perfect Blue is an excellent deconstruction of the parasocial relationships we form with public figures, a subject matter that's even more relevant now in our current era of social media. We've got greater access to celebrities than ever before with the multiple platforms and online channels at our disposal. It adds to the timelessness of the film, on top of just how masterful it is at subverting our perceptions of reality and fantasy. Of course, you've got your deleted scenes where characters are literally amazed at the existence of the internet, which was pretty funny, but those are really just minor nitpicks. While his first, this is definitely Kon's magnum opus and one of my favorite movies of all time, but his directing career was just beginning. Millennium Actress hit cinemas in 2001 as Kon's second feature film, and oh boy, what a follow-up. The movie had some big shoes to fill since its predecessor was, dare I say, perfect. But man, dude captured the hearts of both critics and audiences once again. Like Perfect Blue, the movie is a dazzling blend of fact and fiction as we follow the gripping adventures of a fictional actress named Chiyoko. The story is told in somewhat of a biopic form, as two documentary filmmakers inquire Chiyoko on the events of her life. The old retired actress recalls these moments in chronological fragments, depicted through scenes of her actual memories and dramatized with fictional yet fitting scenes from various movies in her career. At its core, however, is a beautifully told love story, as we learn of Chiyoko's recurring attempts to reunite with a lost love who's always somehow just out of reach. Kon's fantastical storytelling decisions truly shine in this one, creating a story within a story that, once again, breaks boundaries of fantasy and reality. We see our two filmmaker protagonists play both the role of spectators and acting extras throughout the metaphorical, imaginative retellings of Chiyoko's memories. But not only are we given a creatively told narrative of romance, ambition, and adventure, the movie also serves as a love letter to Japan's golden age of cinema, and a sometimes harrowing showcase of the political events in early 20th century Japan. It's a truly wild ride, and while I still prefer Perfect Blue in terms of genre, I am a sucker for psych thrillers, what can I do? Millennium Actress is, without a doubt, one of the best and most creative animated films I've seen to date. Tokyo Godfathers, it's like Ice Age except with a drag queen, a drunk dude, and a runaway teen. Released just 2 years after Millennium Actress in 2003, Kon's third directorial feature centers on the hijinks of 3 homeless people as they attempt to return an abandoned baby to its rightful parents. This is probably the most upbeat, lighthearted, and energetic entry into Kon's works, and certainly the most accessible in that he actually ditches his typical surrealist shtick in favor of a more straightforward comedic adventure. It also functions as a Christmas movie in that our 3 leads attempt to perform the holiday miracle of reuniting a lost child with its mystery family. Kon thus veers away from his usual explorations of media and entertainment, instead focusing on matters of identity and family. Though he doesn't completely do away with moments of fantasy, sprinkling in a few fitting moments of magical realism, we're given a story that's more akin to that of a Coen Brothers film, a comedy of errors with smart, snappy dialogue, and a ragtag group of characters dealing with life's various curveballs and absurdities. It's a highly enjoyable, heartwarming watch for anyone, and I can't recommend it enough. Of course, Kon couldn't stick around in the land of normal for too long, so his next and sadly last film returned to the world of glorious, masterful mindfuckery. Paprika premiered in 2006 and is probably Kon's most ambitious feature, and given that he's already been twisting convention since literally his debut, that's saying something, and I'm glad to say, he made a pretty iconic masterpiece. I know, don't roll your eyes. I've pretty much said this very same thing for all of his movies at this point, but honestly, without exaggerating, I really do think all his movies are brilliant, though this is probably his work at its most visually stunning, and also strangest. Set sometime in the near future, the story centers on a device called the DC Mini, one that allows users to enter people's dreams. Our protagonist, Dr. Atsuko Chiba, illegally uses this machine to help diagnose psychiatric patients, all the while assuming a bubbly, pixie-like alter ego named Paprika. When Chiba and her associates discover sinister, mysterious incidents related to the device, they find themselves thrust into a mind-bending dreamscape of a mission to find answers, a journey where the works of Lynch, which Kaufman and Nolan collide. Like I said, this film is unapologetically crafted to f with your mind and doesn't always leave you with clear answers. It's one you probably have to see at least twice to get a good grip on, but I think it's this surreal, puzzle-like nature of it that makes it so compelling. And the visuals, as I mentioned, are gorgeous. This is definitely Kon's best-looking film, and thankfully so, considering its absurdist, colorful visuals make up a core part of the viewing experience. For those who think it's eerily reminiscent of Nolan's Inception, well, you're not alone. So far, I haven't found any solid confirmation of its influence on Nolan's film, but come on, the inspiration is pretty blatant. Just look at these scenes. Needless to say, if you like that film and your complex sci-fi movies, you're gonna have a pretty awesome time with this one. It feels like watching a dream or a nightmarish LSD trip play out on screen, and there really aren't many animated films like it. With it, Kon managed to end his film career with an albeit trippy bang, cementing his place as one of anime's greatest. There's also something poetic about seeing all three of his previous films cameo in one of the scenes, almost like a final celebration of his contributions to the anime movie industry. And finally, while it's not exactly a feature film, I can't call this a full review of Kon's work without mentioning his mini-series Paranoia Agent. But first, this video is sponsored by Boxu. Hey there, literal pixie dream girl here to bring on the snack cravings, because this is possibly the best snack box subscription service out right now. Say that 10 times fast. Sourced from local artisanal snack makers from Japan, some of whom have actually been around for 100 or more years, which is crazy, Boxu handpicks some of the best authentic Japanese treats, candies, and tea pairings, packing all that goodness into this cute little box and delivering a taste of Japan straight to your door. They even partner directly with family businesses across the country to create new snacks exclusive to your box. And to top off the gourmet experience, you even get a detailed cultural guide that breaks down the origins of each snack, its flavors, ingredients, and even common allergens. Each month gets a different theme and thus a different assortment of snacks. So for example, since February is the so-called month of love, their latest box was curated with a selection of chocolate, strawberry, and other sweet flavored snacks. January's theme was Golden Kanagawa, and December's was Winter in Hokkaido. You can actually keep track of all their past themes on their official website, but if you're a first-time customer, you get a starter theme titled Seasons of Japan, which includes a diverse collection of snacks that give you a taste of each season. I actually have that box right now, being a Boxu newbie myself, and you get a pretty generous mix of both sweet and savory snacks, and even teas. I actually had their mochi and green tea while filming this video, and I'm pretty sad I actually ate the whole thing way too quickly. I do not recommend eating on the bed, by the way, because it has a lot of sugar crystals, and now they're all over my blanket. Also, if you plan to watch any of the movies discussed in this video, then what better to pair the experience with than authentic Japanese snacks shipped straight from Japan? That way you can also satisfy those food cravings that anime movies and shows tend to give you. Why does food look so good in anime? If you use my code AnnaIsabel10, you can actually get 10% off your order and save up to $47. To get this discount, click through the link in my description and enter the code once again, AnnaIsabel10 with no spaces. Imagine if Paprika actually pulled off Inception-style ads in her spare time. She would have been the best saleswoman. Anyway, back to voiceover me. Paranoia Agent is a mini-series of 13 episodes. 13 episodes, 20 minutes each, is an easy binge, go watch it. And is a psychological thriller that follows the lives of various characters in Musashino, Tokyo. When news of a juvenile serial assailant named Shonen Bat, or Lil Slugger in the English translation, makes its waves throughout the city, affecting our protagonists one way or another, they attempt to find answers on who this mystery boy is and the reasons behind his reign of terror. As the plot progresses, we're slowly fed details on the truth about Shonen Bat and the lives of those connected to his case. Because this is a mini-series, Kon took the opportunity of treating each episode like its own character study, focusing on the story of one specific character. The show thus functions as more of a collection of character vignettes, but most still have their subtle connections with one another, and all are grounded in the single, chilling mystery of Shonen Bat. There was actually a reason for this format. Apparently during the makings of Perfect Blue, Millennium Actress, and Tokyo Godfathers, Kon was left with an abundance of untouched stories and concepts. Rather than shelving them all together, he incorporated these very ideas into Paranoia Agent, which is also why each episode has its own unique style, tone, and creative format. One may take the form of a fantasy adventure, or an ironically upbeat dark comedy, or a delusional superhero tale. This is dependent on the character or characters the episode is centered on, and their specific arc and personalities. In one episode, we're even given these occasional inserts that offer insight into the varying roles of the animation industry, showcasing Kon's passion for the craft. And true to his fashion, this series is definitely not short of the surreal and bizarre, though its wacky moments are often portrayed as more psychological rather than strange breakdowns of reality. It's less Paprika and more Perfect Blue in that respect. And like Perfect Blue, Kon once again takes a critical swipe at our relationship with media and explores confronting issues of personal trauma, depression, and societal anxiety. It's also yet another prophetic vision on the information age and the kind of behaviors it influences today. Super Eyepatch Wolf has done an amazing video essay on this film, so if you want a detailed deep dive into all the reasons to get into it, links in my description. Each of these works showcase Kon's love for the medium. He always seems willing to break the rules and try something new. His visual choices and storytelling techniques effectively challenge both the characters and viewers' perception of reality, applying the French art technique known as, ooh boy, here we go, trompe-l'oeil. I tried. Which means to deceive the eye. And the cool thing is, he never does it in a way that feels pretentious or artsy for the sake of being artsy. I think part of what makes his work so compelling to any moviegoer is the fine balance he strikes between experimental and entertainment. You can sit back and enjoy the hijinks and conventional tales of mystery and adventure, while at the same time experiencing something new in terms of directional style and narrative structure. And his works consistently delve into the human psyche and social stigmas of modern society, which add to how thought-provoking and emotionally impactful they often are. I also have to note that unlike most other anime aesthetics I've seen, Kon isn't afraid to showcase more realistic-looking, or let's be honest, sometimes downright ugly, character designs, which I think fits the goal of having less cutesy, exaggeratedly attractive characters, and instead more relatable, down-to-earth, human-esque ones. When it comes to the conventional anime aesthetics, they're usually relegated to the fantasy elements of Kon's stories, which, again, was a refreshing change of pace. Because of both his visuals and subject matters, Kon's movies sometimes feel more like live-action films. I often forget I'm watching 2D characters on screen. His compelling use of the art form is a testament to how effective it is at telling mature adult stories, rather than as an exclusive tool for children's tales, as much as Disney and Saturday morning cartoons have led many to believe just that. They're, as Dean DeBlois put it, a fascinating middle ground between cartoons and the world as we know it. After watching Perfect Blue, I knew I had to check out more of Kon's work, and I know this might just come down to taste, but each time, and unlike my previous experiences with other directors, sadly, I was never disappointed once. There's something for everyone in his films, whether you're after romance, adventure, horror, or surrealist, cerebral shit, you're bound to find your ideal movie experience in at least one of Kon's works. And the careful, deliberate details in each have you finding or learning something new with each repeat viewing. It's really no surprise to me that his stuff has gone on to influence some of Hollywood's directors, most notably Darren Aronofsky, who purchased the rights to remake Perfect Blue, who later created the highly inspired Black Swan instead, and did a shot-for-shot remake of one of its scenes in his feature film hit, Requiem for a Dream. The only flaw I've found in his filmography, and forgive me, this is gonna sound totally cliche, but it's just way too short. It's sad that we can't get excited for his next imaginative, profound creation, but his legacy of high-quality films will at least continue to inspire plenty of animators and filmmakers to come. I think his stuff is a must-watch for anyone who loves Japanese anime, or animation, or just cinema in general. And despite his last big film being released in 2006, I'm glad people are still discussing his work to this very day. I mean, it's why I even stumbled upon his movies in the first place, and while late to the party, I'm more than happy to join the club.